Hi everyone, welcome to Uncut. I'm Ayaz and today we have a very special guest with us, Rohit Wad, the Chief Technology Officer at Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. Rohit is here to answer all your questions related to cryptos, cryptocurrency exchanges, and also shed some light on the recent controversy surrounding the WazirX Binance show in India. But that's not all. We'll also be learning about the different ways to store your cryptocurrencies, whether it's through hardware or online wallets. And to top it off, we'll be getting a sneak peek into some thrilling and new products that Binance has in store for future for all of us. So sit back, relax, and join us for this exciting conversation with Rohit. Hi Rohit, welcome to Uncut. Hope you're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Rohit, we are already into February and many in the crypto and Web3 world are excited about what's in the store this year. So first, I would want to hear from you insights on what's new and exciting in the world of cryptocurrency and Web3. So please share with us what new developments we can expect in 2023.
Oh, I think this year is going to be a lot of innovation, as you can imagine, and from everyone, not just Binance, but from Binance or Polygon, which is of course in India, and a bunch of other companies also. So I think you can think of it in two broad categories. The first category is around the exchanges. So the exchanges have been around forever, and you're going to see a lot of innovation in there, both in terms of new products that these exchanges offer, and also in how they comply with all the local regulations wherever they operate, so that the users can be safe. So that's one whole class of innovation. And the second one, the second class of innovation you're going to see is around Web3 in general. So you have seen a bunch of L2s come up. You've seen a bunch of new scenarios come up, transactions. I think there was even a time when there were a bunch of farmers who wanted to do essentially carbon trading on chain. There are some farmers in Texas who are thinking of making their own chain to track produce. So there's just going to be a ton of innovation on the Web3 platforms as well.
Rohit, as we talk about Binance, it's hard to ignore the recent controversy surrounding WazirX, one of India's top exchanges. There was a lot of confusion, concern regarding the ownership of WazirX, with everyone in India once thinking that it's a subsidiary of Binance. It's a Binance company. But Binance later said it never acquired WazirX. So can you shed some light on this and clarify Binance's relationship with WazirX?
That is a good question. So I will say a couple of things. Number one, I'm the tech guy, so I'm not a policymaker, or I'm not in the operations part of the company. So I don't really know that much about the deal, about what was the reason for the things, etc. Uh, with that, as far as I can think, we had a technology arrangement with them. We were not responsible for their operations or transactions or KYC processes and the like. So I think the arrangement was purely on a tech basis. But beyond that, frankly, I don't have much more information to share or to think about with that exchange.
Fine, Rohit, with your extensive experience in the crypto industry, can you share your thoughts on future of crypto and Web3 in India? Considering we're a country where the regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies is still pending, it's still in line. While I do understand that you may not be a policy expert, but we value your unique perspective on this. Given the current state of affairs, how do you see the future of cryptocurrency evolving in India? And what steps do you believe need to be taken to ensure that the benefits of cryptocurrency, crypto network, and Web3 are accessible to all, even in the face of regulatory challenges?
That is a good question. I know we are trying to all like play guessing games, but so I throw in my hand at the guessing game and so on, and where we think we can go. So India has had a long history of major innovation and major strides. So if you think about, so I'll go back, like way back when in the day, when I used to go in on Indian Railways, and I had to go stand at Durg railway station. I had to stand in line for 3 hours to book a ticket. It had to be 3 months out. I don't know if you remember those days. Right? I mean, you're too young. You're too young to remember them. But there were those days when you stood in line for 3 hours, and then you went up, and there were like paper things on which you wrote things, etc., etc. Right? Um, Another thing that if you remember, you had these STD, PCO, etc. booths where you go make long distance calls, etc. Right? But look at the dramatic pace of innovation India has. Now, I would say that compared to, in fact, many modern countries, the Indian Railways reservation systems is more advanced than most modern countries, right? India leapfrogged and has cellular phones, and the penetration of those is more advanced than many modern countries, right? And so, if you are now coming to money, the UPI that the Indian government introduced, and you could go, buy like vegetables with your phone. That is more advanced than many other countries. So I think India has the potential and the dream and the desire and the ambition to leapfrog and go to a new mode of payments, a new mode of essentially monetary policy. I think the country is definitely capable. The country is definitely ready for it. The question becomes, what are the local regulations? How can various people comply with them? How can we do it in a way that protects the consumer and is compliant with the local regulations and brings this thing to people? I don't think the holdup is going to be on the tech side. I think tech will be ready. I don't think the holdup will be in the desire of individual people to participate in this. I think people will be ready. It is a matter of, can the government think that they are protecting the people and have regulations that people can understand and comply with and bring it forward? So as soon as that bit changes, you're going to see an explosion in activity there. And by explosion, I mean in a good way. Um,
Yeah. Fine, Rohit. India's finance minister has also said that crypto is 99% technology. She has also emphasized the need for a global regulatory framework for crypto in India. And in light of this, let us know what's going on in the US regarding the regulatory framework and what US is doing in order to create a conducive environment for the growth of crypto and Web3 in the country.
one thing that I can say is, we on the technology side are able to immediately adopt engineering practices that comply with local regulations. So as an example, I'll give you an example. Different countries have different KYC laws. So the KYC laws in the US will be different from France, will be different from Italy, etc. And even if they change the laws to protect their citizens in some way, we are capable of changing our code, changing our engineering to comply with the laws very, very quickly. And so that's where I leave it. That whatever the laws are, as long as they're understandable, well defined, etc., it's easy for various companies to comply.
Okay, let's get into the technology right now. Rohit, so the crypto world, I would say, has seen its fair share of scams and frauds in the recent times, and it has left many wondering why this is happening so frequent in the crypto world. Why you and I may agree that scams can happen in any industry, anywhere, it does seem that the crypto world is particularly vulnerable. As an expert in this field, can you shed some light on why this is happening so frequently and what can be done to make the crypto world safer for the investors?
That's a good point. So I think if you look at scams, there are, I would say, two or three broad categories of scams. The I would say the most common, but the ones that people don't talk about that much, is someone somehow got hold of your name and password and then took the money out, right, or transferred money, or and one of the most commonsensical things people do, I think, yeah, you've seen this. I think there was even a TV series. What was it? I was on Netflix. I was watching, based out in, I think, Uttar Pradesh, where people were taking OTP out and scamming people, etc. That was a big thing, right? So if you look at it, all exchanges, certainly us, definitely protect our users by saying there are multiple forms of authentication. We actually, in most places, have gone even beyond OTP, because OTP can also be scammed, right? So we start doing things like biometric, or something called passkeys, if you have heard of that. So we use biometric and passkeys as the second factor. So that is one class to protect the users in that way. The other scam sometimes you see is some of the exchanges which are not very reputable have taken the money that users have invested or users have given them and invested it unwisely, or invested it someplace where the user didn't expect it to be invested, right? And then lost that money, and therefore the exchanges went down. Uh, if you look at us, we've always tried to say that no, user assets, we don't trade, we don't play with it. Yeah, no, we do only things with your explicit permission. And so therefore, recently we published, something called proof of reserves. I don't know if you saw that, which essentially allows each person's account to be tabulated, and you can show that we have enough money. And the wallets that we have, once you give the wallet addresses, it is very transparent. You can set up watchers for those addresses and see if any money is moving around, right? And so we want to go out of our way to show you that the money that you have entrusted with the exchange is not being used for anything other than what you said it was used for, to be used for. So that's a thing that people are doing that is good. The third form is, you might have someone, some hacker, actually penetrate the server side of the exchange and steal the funds out that way. So not through the clients or not through the users, but from the server side. And we run our data centers. We have regular security audits, etc. And we have various techniques, defense in depth, to make sure that that thing doesn't happen. So those are the kinds of things that we are doing. Oh, and one last thing is to try and educate our users how to be careful. Like if you go to let's say a bank, you can put your money in fixed deposits, you can put your money in mutual funds, you can put your different instruments. The question is, do you understand what instrument you're putting your money in? Right? If you leave your money in a checking account, you don't expect much interest, but you don't expect it to go away. Same thing with fixed deposits. If you start investing in stocks or mutual funds, you understand that there's a risk, right? I think it's the same kind of education that we need to provide to our users. Um, you probably heard the saying, "Do your own research,"
Exactly.
right? But do your own research applies to people like you, perhaps, who are very crypto savvy. So for people who are not that savvy, we need to help them do their research. So we have a big arm called Binance Academy. You might have seen Binance Academy, where we try and educate people on how to do their research. All right, I'll pause there. Those are sort of the four broad areas.
Rohit, it's no secret that the world of cryptocurrency can be complex and difficult to navigate, especially for those who may not be as tech savvy. As Binance continues to grow and expand its services internationally, how do people plan to make your platform more user friendly and accessible to people in second, third tier cities and towns who may not have the same level of access or technological know how as those in larger cities?
That is a fantastic question. And while I will try and offer you a couple of answers, but I would say that the field is just wide open. Your answers are probably as good as mine. Someone else's answers are as good as mine. I'll tell you where we would like to go. First of all, let me just say that we only want to do things that follow the law in whichever country or jurisdiction we are operating in. But let's go with a bank, for example. If you are a guy who has millions of dollars, then you invest in a variety of instruments in the bank, right? One, two, three, four, five. You invest in a variety of. If you have only a few rupees, then you're going to come in and you're going to say, just put some of my money in fixed deposit. That's it. I'm done. Or you might buy some bonds and that's it. That I'm done. And the interesting thing is that these instruments are very easily understandable by people, right? And so we also have products like that, whether they are called earn and so on, but they have to be legal in the jurisdiction where you can come in and say, hey, I want to just buy some whatever cryptocurrencies, or I want to buy some coins. I want to just leave it. I don't even want to trade. So it is possible for people to do that just as like they do with the banks. So I think that is a one big way forward to make it very, very simple. Um, we actually have those products today, but the user interface is somewhat complicated and it can feel daunting to people. I mean, they look at it and say, "Oh my God, I don't know what's happening. Let me just not do anything." Uh, I'll give you an example. Way back when Google first came out, right? And they had just like that control, the edit bar. You can type whatever you want, and a lot of people didn't know what to type, or they would type some just weird things and the results wouldn't come out, and they said this thing is not good. I want to just go back to Yahoo and click on the links because it was simpler, right? So I think what you're seeing is right now many people perceive the area as to be too complicated. So two things will change. One, we will make things simpler for people, and two, I think people are going to understand this very, very rapidly and learn how to use it.
Okay, Rohit, many newcomers to the world of cryptocurrency turn to online resources like YouTube videos and articles to learn about the seemingly complex ecosystem. This can lead to mistakes that can be costly in terms of both money and security for them. For instance, some may transfer funds to a random online wallet, hardware wallet, without fully understanding the risk involved in it. So, can you speak to the safety of these type of solution like crypto wallets, online or offline, and provide any advice to those who are just starting out in the crypto world?
So well, since you've called them random hardware and random software wallets, not all of them will be safe. I think you just have to figure out, are you using something that's reputable, right? So for instance, we offer something called Trust Wallet. You might have seen that, that's one of our products, and that's essentially a DeFi wallet. So if you don't want to put your money on the central exchange, you can use that trust wallet. It's ours. It's safe. But I would say that for a lot of people, just the central exchange and the wallet that we offer is also pretty safe. I give the closest example I can think of is this. Let's say you have, I don't know, 1 lakh rupees, right? You can go put it at a bank, and then, if you forget the passbook, if you forget something, it's okay, the bank has it. As long as you can prove who you are, you can get it, right? Or you can say, I don't trust the bank. I'm going to dig a hole in my garden and put it somewhere and then cover it, right? Well, the problem is, as long as you know where the hole is, you're okay, all right? But what if, heaven forbid, you end up dying? Your children don't know where the hole is, right?
Exactly.
Or one day you forget. So I think DeFi wallets can be used by people, but you have to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you can get scammed. Otherwise, even if you don't get scammed, you forget your passphrase or whatnot, you can lose it, etc. So that's sort of the problem with DeFi wallets. The central exchanges, if you can trust them, they're like banks. If you forget, you KYC yourself again, and your account will be opened out back again to you. So you can't lose the whole assets that you have. And we are going to have a product in between that we are testing now. I'm actually personally pretty excited about it. That is what we call semi-custody wallet. I mean, we'll come up with a sexier name, but right now we're calling it as it'll be a
Exactly.
very beautiful marketing name. What you're hearing is an engineer, and the name is not that sexy. But the semi-custody wallet is sort of in between. And so it's built on something called multi-party compute. So you can have your funds in a place, and it might need, let's say, 3 signatures to get that money out, right? One that you have or your device has, one that Binance holds, and one that you can give to either Binance, that's the third one you can give to Binance, or to a third party that you trust, right? So you need 2 out of these 3 signatures to unlock that. So if you were to forget your stuff, no problem, Binance and the third party can do it, right? And this way, you can be sure that we can't run away with your money because we only have one key. Right? So this is sort of a best of both worlds. So if you don't trust me, you can have 2 keys. So I can't take it. I need two. And but on the other hand, if you forget your key, then you can ask me and your third party to work together and release the money. So that one is in between. We are internally testing it, and if it works out well, I think that could be a great choice for people. So anyway, that is a way for people. So if you look at us, if you're a guy who says, nope, I'm the not your keys, not your coin guy, I want fully DeFi, then you can use Trust Wallet. If you say, nope, I trust the central exchange, I like the liquidity, I like the ease of use, you can put it in Binance. Or if you kind of want the best of both, you can use this semi-custody wallet. So we'll have all three. And if you look at it, these things can protect you from scams.
So Rohit, even Indian crypto investors use Binance. A lot of funds of Indian users are there on Binance. So their concern is that how safe Binance is, considering what has happened last year. So how safe you people are?
So I would say that first of all, say, you can let the action speak louder than words. So back in December, I think mid-December, there was a scare with FTX, right? And people were saying, "Go, I'm afraid. I want to take my money out," right? Because they're just afraid that what happens to my money? Will you go down the same path as FTX, etc.? So over a 3-day period, we processed $6 billion in withdrawals. Can you imagine? I can't even imagine the bank being able to handle it, right? So, and whoever wanted their money out could get their money out, right? It's just mind-boggling to me. $6 billion withdrawn from the exchange in the period of 3 days. How can you handle that? How can you handle 24 by 7? Anyone at any time can come and ask you for, like, I mean, this thing doesn't even have it in banks. You go to, I don't know, UCO Bank or State Bank of India, it's not running 24 by 7, right? And so that I think should give people a lot of confidence that during that time, $6 billion could be withdrawn with no problem, right? And the reason they could be withdrawn is because we were not fooling around with people's money. That the people's assets were indeed in a place where they could take it out, right? So that is one thing I would ground the conversation in. Beyond that, I think the same kinds of things that we talked about. We have proofs of reserves that you can check. hey, is my account counted using the ZK snark? Then, yep, I'm counted. And then you can look at the assets and you'd see that we are over collateralized. All right. So we hold more than the liabilities going out. I talked a little bit about protecting people in the form of using the latest security advances like biometric or passkeys. I talked a little bit about how in our data center, we have a variety of technologies to prevent intrusion of hackers. So those are some of the metrics, or those are some of the, not metrics, but ways to keep people secure.
Okay, Rohit, Binance must be facing a unique set of challenges, technological challenges, I would say, that are specific to this industry because this is a new and evolving industry. So, can you speak to what some of these challenges are and how Binance plans to overcome them in the future?
So there are many, many challenges. Much like I would say, you go think back to the days of Amazon when it was young or Netflix when it was young, right? So the number one challenge is one of scale. Like when people want to trade, it's just crazy the amount of trades that happen, the volume that happens. The other challenge, and I'll get to solutions for it in a second. The other interesting thing is if you look at the biggest stock exchanges in the world, whether it's Sensex or sorry, Bombay Stock Exchange, BSE or NYSE or Nasdaq, these exchanges only trade a certain hours of the day, right? The rest of the day they are closed and they are closed on the weekend. So if they want to upgrade any software, etc., it can easily be done, right? We run 24 by 7. So anytime we are upgrading software, we are upgrading software while people are trading on the same exchange. So that is a unique challenge. Then, if you look at again New York Stock Exchange or Nasdaq or BSC, you and I aren't trading directly on it. You and I go to a brokerage, and the brokerage is the thing that's trading on it. So the number of things that connect to the exchange is probably in the thousands, like maybe 20,000, 30,000. We are capable of having like 150 million people connect at once and use the exchange, right? So that's a big problem of scale. And then, of course, like the worldwide place, we lack talent. We are trying to hire people worldwide, and we can't find people fast enough. Those are sort of the challenges that we face.
Okay, Rohit, education is a key component in making the world of crypto safer and more accessible to everyone. Tell us about the key awareness initiative that Binance is taking to educate people about crypto. Also, any advice for individuals who want to learn more about the industry and keep their investment safe?
Oh yeah, there are several things that we want to go work on. Number one, in the core exchange itself, the main exchange, we want to make sure that it is already the fastest exchange, but it continues to outpace and continues to be faster. So your transactions are settled faster, etc. So that's a big initiative for us. Two, that it's up all the time. So our spot exchange last year had no downtime, zero. All right. So it wasn't, you go to some site and it says, oh, closed for maintenance or there's a glitch under that. Zero. It's always up and running. 365 days, 24 by 7, always running. That's a big deal for us. Third, we want to simplify, the thing that you talked about earlier or you asked about earlier. We want to simplify the product so that beginner people also feel as welcome, or beginner investors also feel as welcome as people who are using trading APIs to trade. So we want to be able to accessible for all of them. Fourth, the semi-custody wallet or the whatever a better word for it, that one's going to be killer. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. A lot of people are going to have confidence that we offer that service. What else can I offer? Oh, KYC. We want to make absolutely sure that people who are on the exchange are good people. They're not, doing money laundering, things like that. So you will see us try and match two things at once. Number one, make sure that the KYC is great and accurate. But number two, without it being so painful that you can't pass it. Right. And so those are sort of the some of the initiatives that we want to go make sure that investors get a great experience at Binance.
Thank you, Rohit, for sharing your valuable insights into the world of cryptocurrency and educating our viewers on the latest updates from the industry.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for your time and thank you for the questions.
To viewers, I hope that you found Rohit's insights valuable and gained a better understanding of the current state of the crypto industry and also about the innovation that Binance is bringing to the space. As always, it's important to stay informed and aware of the latest developments in the crypto world to ensure the safety and security of your investment, of your funds. And for this, stay connected with us and keep watching Crypto with Uncut.